Science is information, wisdom is spirituality. And you can see this very clearly in movies such as Jurassic Park and the original sci-fi classic Frankenstein. It's this whole idea of, yes, we can do these things. We can manipulate matter. We can manipulate human life. But should we? We have the how and we don't know the why. Science is the how. Spirituality is the why, is the meaning, is the wisdom, is the deep understanding. Why one should do something. Science cannot tell you why you should continue to exist, why you should love people, why you should love yourself, why you should love your family. These are questions that are spiritual in nature. Okay, so you have Frankenstein. Yes, he essentially is taking almost the powers of God, right? That's the power of our technology to give life and death. That's the power of God, you could say. But should he bring this creature back to life, this Frankenstein's monster, which is a composite of all these dead bodies, did he ever consider what it would be like to be this creature? Did he consider how much pain and emptiness this creature was going to feel, how this creature would not be loved because it's not beautiful, because it's a freak of nature, how it would be rejected by society and treated like a monster? Dr. Frankenstein didn't consider these things. He was so fascinated with the idea, if he could, he didn't think about if he should, and that brings us to Jurassic Park. That's what Jeff Goldblum's character says. He's essentially kind of the spiritual guy in the mix, even though he's a mathematician, which is interesting, right? Because you normally wouldn't put those two things. A lot of people wouldn't. I would. So he's kind of like a divine mathematician, looking at the divine numbers, looking at the higher meaning of the numbers, the higher meaning of the information, which is the wisdom. So his famous quote is, yeah, you people were thinking so much if you could bring the dinosaurs back, you didn't think if you should. Because again, you're bringing life, you're playing God, putting lives into existence that did not develop by themselves, that did not develop naturally. And, we're too ignorant to be able to know all the consequences of playing God. And the consequence was death, destruction, and chaos in both movies. In Jurassic Park, the chaos is caused by the monster, and it's kind of funny how every Jurassic Park movie is the same. It's the exact same thing. Man playing God irresponsibly, ignorant as we are, as normal flawed humans, the result being great destruction caused by the dinosaurs. Death and destruction. Be interesting if they made a Jurassic Park that had somehow a different twist on it. Like maybe if, they had learned more and were able to find a balance between the technology and nature, which I think is the evolution of humanity. And it's what we have to do. We have no choice. We have to, at this point, we need our technology to even clean up the own messes that we've made. And ideally, we have a perfect balance between nature and technology. So you can see this idea in many movies. Also in Blade Runner. It's the exact same thing. Man has this great technology, but doesn't have the wisdom to use it properly. And in Blade Runner, again, playing God, giving life. And the head Tyrell represents God in essence, right? And he's kind of like the high priest at the top of the pyramid. He's got the glasses on, which are super shiny, so he's kind of like this light. But then he has the fall from grace. Whenever Roy Batty asks him, Father, give me more life. God, you are my God. You gave me life. Give me more life. Again, man playing God with technology, with science, without the wisdom, without the spirituality, without the understanding of meaning and what the greatest meaning of all is, which is love. Right? So they did these things without love. They did these things out of, I guess, ego and ignorance, I mean, also just this human curiosity, which is not, I'm not trying to say it's a bad thing. Just the point is, there's a famous quote, about power. Power without wisdom is destruction. Science represents power. Technology represents power. We don't use it wisely, destruction. This is also in Spider-Man No Way Home. Is it No Way Home, with all of the different villains, right? They're all products of science, and Spider-Man is a product of science too. And what happened was it all traumatized them by some scientific accident, and Spider-Man is the one that's able to use the trauma for good. They're unable to, but so that they fall into the reacting against the trauma, not healing their trauma, so acting out of society, causing chaos and destruction. Empowered by science used irresponsibly, without wisdom, without spirituality. At the end of the day, it's all one. Science, spiritual, it's all connected, and it must be connected.